Hey everybody, I'm back! This is James from the 104th Voice Squad, and I am still playing Seduce Me. Oh my god! After talking to a couple of people, I've just done everything wrong. Everything! Everything! I mean, it's nice that I'm talking to Diana now. I'm not complaining about that, you know what I mean? But I had intended to learn more about at least one of the incubi, and so far I've done a terrible job. Terrible! So, hell, what else am I gonna do now except, you know, try to fix this? I'm gonna try to fix this somehow. Finish this, this route, if you will. Like, I guess it's a route, right? I mean, I don't know. And maybe just keep on talking to Diana. I mean, I don't mind. I really don't. Alright, let's see what's going on here. So, I had to make a deal, guys, or I was probably going to be eaten by some demon monster thing. So, here we go. And I did, and, yeah, so, that's where we're at. Diana kept her eyes on me, unsure what was going on from the look on her face.
So, what do you want to know? You're obviously curious about demons enough to make a deal with me.
Well, first of all, your 3 sizes would be great. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Alright. Well, my first thought shot to her, but then I remembered the boys. Not all of my questions were answered, and I wanted to know everything. First of all, that's a great question. Who are you? Diana chuckled before crossing her arms.
You may refer to me as simply Diana. As I said before, I'm a succubus, and I intend to bring the boys back home.
Oh, isn't that nice? So the evil twin sister of Jessica Rabbit went to go capture the boys and bring them back home. Isn't that great? Alright, and now, since they're gone, it's now my problem. I'm so bad at these. Alright, anyways. Back home? What do you mean? Back to the demon world? No, back to Six Flags. Come on.
Precisely. They don't belong here, and it's imperative that they return.
Why?
Did they not tell you?
No, they did
They're
not.
runaway royals.
They're runaway royals. Royals. I didn't really know that. I couldn't believe my ears. What? They were royalty? Why would they run away from royalty? I don't know. Just think of a couple of reasons. Diana simply smirked at my new surprised face.
Ah, so they didn't tell you. How unfortunate. You were in the presence of a demon prince and his noble brothers, and you didn't even know.
The bloody hell. I felt myself unconsciously, I think I said that right, walk over and sit on my bed. They hid something gigantic from me. Why? Did they not trust me? I don't know, man. Then again, it had only been a couple of days, yet they helped me and were here for me regardless, acting like servants instead of noblemen. I gripped my head in frustration. I really wish they were here right now. What am I supposed to believe?
Believe whatever you wish. The confusion will fade away soon enough.
Still talking about that memory wiping thing, huh? Then I really don't need any of that Men in Black stuff happening. I looked to Diana, who only gave me an almost somber look in return. She was serious about removing my memories, but she would keep her end of the deal until I learned all I could. How nice of her. That, and I felt thrilled to have her. Well, I can't say I want her to leave. I just... Maybe it was because she was a succubus. I don't know. I sighed and faced Diana. So, how did you get to the human world? How did the boys get here?
With the help of a human, in both of our cases. There's truly no need for details beyond that. Any human can cast a demon's summoning spell. It's just a matter of what happens during the summoning and after where things get tricky.
What do you mean? And by what do you mean, I mean, aw, crap.
Well, if a human is willing, only part of their life force is taken from them, and they are given one chance to open a bridge between our worlds to allow the demon they desire to come through. The more demons come through, the more life force the spell takes.
Alright, so Granddad did it, what, 5 times? The dude was like, what, 80 or some mess? So that was going to instantly kill him. Alright, great. Good job, Grandpa! Why would you do that?
Luckily for the poor human that brought them here, the boys sacrificed some of their own powers to open the bridge instead of letting the spell feed solely on the human.
Okay.
The human lived, and the boys came through.
Well, okay. Good. But he still died, though. That almost made sense. Something in my mind clicked, but I couldn't clear it out to figure out what it was. I only nodded to Diana. And you were the same?
Somewhat. However, I don't care to go into details about how I came here. You'll forget soon enough.
You keep on saying that like that's like an out for you to answer my questions. That's not part of the deal.
You wish to have me around for more information. I get to decide what information to give.
That's cheating!
It's not cheating if it's not a broken rule.
I hate you, Michaela. I don't. I hate the sass of this character! Just stop trying. Moving on. I huffed and crossed my arms and legs. That's almost exactly what I did. Diana was a game player and I didn't like her rules. However, they were the rules I had to accept in order to keep my memories a little while longer. I'd find a way to remember. She wasn't going to win. Diana let out a small chuckle and ran a hand through her hair.
Well, I believe I should head to bed.
What?
If I'm to stay here, then I need some form of sleep.
To quote Eric, if you need a bedfellow. Oh, I'm so horrible. I'm so horrible. Alright. I watched Diana cross to my room to the door and open it. She turned to me with a small wink.
Have a good night. See you in the morning.
Yeah, bye. Before I could respond, she exited my room and closed the door behind her. I stared. It was like she was in control. I almost gritted my teeth at the thought. She wasn't the master of the house. You're damn right she isn't. I was. Well, you keep on telling yourself that. I huffed and crawled back under the covers. How did my life get so effed up? What was going on with me? I must have had some serious bad luck. I literally did this. I sighed and covered myself with my blankets. Wanting tonight to end, I needed tomorrow to come. School would take my mind off things. If school actually happened, anyway. I awoke that morning minutes before my alarm. I felt slightly groggy, but I didn't exactly feel bad. It was more of a physical exhaustion with a mind ready to take on a day. I stretched and quickly changed into my clothes before heading downstairs with my bag. As I reached the lobby, I stopped and sniffed the sudden new smell in the air. Oh, she made breakfast too? Breakfast? Hell yeah, she made breakfast! I wish it would have been breakfast in bed. I need to stop. I continued my way to the dining room to see Diana laying out a plate covered with sliced fruit. On the table, there was delicious-smelling eggs, toast, bacon, ham, veggies, and juice. I felt my mouth salivate. What is up with these demons and always making eggs and bacon? Such a very limited diet in the demon world. I mean, I love bacon and eggs like everyone else, but, what? Is that as far as they went? And well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, hell, she could have made nothing. Whatever. But then I remembered that it was Diana sitting the breakfast, and I shook my head. What are you doing?
You're up. Come. Breakfast. I didn't know what you liked, so I made everything I knew humans ate for this time of day.
It's a very continental breakfast you made today. I don't know if you noticed, but I think Mika's Japanese. Or half Japanese. I don't know. I don't think Grandpa's Japanese. Which would explain the bacon and eggs. I have a lot of bacon and eggs because the day before, that was enough for like 5 or 6 people, right? You know, if you include myself. And I'm sure they ate more than once a day. And then I made chicken and rice. I think I need to go to the store and get some more food. I can't believe I still had eggs. Random thought that had nothing to do with anything that's happening right now, by the way. I walked over and scanned the table before giggling. Giggling? Okay. Diana raised an eyebrow at me. Again, that's not raising an eyebrow. It's more like tired of your shit kind of look, you know?
And what is so funny?
Oh, quit pouting. You didn't make everything breakfast related. You forgot a couple of things.
Like what?
Coffee, pancakes, waffles. Diana looked almost insulted before looking at the table and recounting the plates. I laughed harder, making her glare at me.
I haven't been in the human world long enough to know everything, alright? Unlike the boys, I know little to nothing about what you humans eat in your homes.
Well, if you need to know more about the human world, maybe you should stay longer and I could teach you everything you need to know. Stop it, James! Alright. Alright, moving on. At the sound of the boys, I suddenly remembered them. They treated me like part of their family, caring for me and making sure I was okay beyond anything else. They were servants to me and I let them go like an idiot! I let out a sigh at the memory. Little did I know that Diana stared at me the entire time. I shook my head and looked at the table, getting an empty plate and filling my head with what I wanted before sitting and eating. Diana remained standing, watching me. I almost felt naked under her gaze. This is the second time I almost felt naked. So I looked at her. So I looked over, pausing my eating. Aren't you going to eat?
I already ate.
Oh, word? What did you eat?
You really wish to know?
Yeah, man. Yes. I wanted to know more about demons. I wanted to know more about her. Of course, I said yes. Words. Diana stared in surprise at me before smirking a bit and reaching into her cleavage. I'm just done. I'm just done. The thought that was in my head is definitely not what she's doing. I watched as she pulled out a small purple vial. Damn. You reached pretty deep, didn't you? Oh my god. She popped the cork and poured a mere couple sipfuls into her palm before recorking the vial and placing it back in her dress. Yeah, her dress. That's where she placed it in. Diana closed her eyes and closed her hand. What was she doing? This was odd to watch, yet at the same time, I was practically at the edge of my seat in curiosity. What was she going to do? Her hand started to open, almost like a blossoming flower, and revealed a small peach-sized fruit. A peach. Sweet. It was purple and had almost an enchanting smell to it that made my food seem almost disgusting. Cool.
A plant from the abyssal plains. We call it a sweet flower. Would you like to try it?
I would like to call it a peach. A giant peach. Oh. Why am I thinking of James and the Giant Peach all of a sudden? But anyways, I'm definitely going to eat this thing. I nodded, staring at the fruit. It looked absolutely glorious and delectable. I couldn't resist grabbing onto the chance to try it. Diana nodded before cupping the fruit in her hands and pulling the purple flesh from the fruit, revealing a juicy blackish center. As if it was cut on the inside, Diana pulled out a perfect slice and handed it to me.
I must say, you may be the first human to try this fruit.
Really?
You should consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, I would if I could. If I know I'm gonna remember the experience 24 hours from now. You know, I nodded, not pulling my eyes away from the fruit slice in my hand. It was juicy and its clear juice painted over my fingers. I somehow didn't care. I wanted to try and savor it. I lifted the small slice to my lips and took a small bite, feeling ecstasy run through my mouth. What the frick? I almost couldn't fight back the moan that was erupting from my throat. What kind of fruit is this? It's delicious sex peach fruit thing. Whatever. It was sweet, yet it was slightly tart. It was the perfect combination, and at the same time, it felt so unnatural. Yeah, it does. I felt not only pleasure in my mouth, but my body began to feel energized and warm. What kind of fruit is this, I ask again? This really is like super sex fruit, isn't it? Pleasure in my mouth? Come on, you guys. I know you guys thought of it too. It's not just me. Whatever. Okay. Not even trying to be at that point. Just pointing it out. Alright. We all know, okay? Y'all are above 16 watching this, right? Just making sure, because I said early in the first video that, you know, hey, things are gonna happen plus 16, okay? That's what I said, so whatever. These jokes are okay. Alright, all of that was from a small bite. Oh, that's right, I didn't eat the whole thing yet. You know what, I'm not gonna... I think I shouldn't eat the rest of it. I don't know what's gonna happen. I swallowed the biteful and let out a pleasured sigh, making Diana smirk slightly at me with a raised eyebrow. I couldn't lie to her about how it tasted. And she eats these all the time? It's delicious! And other things! But mostly that!
That it is. They're natively grown in my kingdom, so I have the pleasure of enjoying these every day.
Nice. You have a kingdom?
I do. The boys are not the only royals in the demon world, sweetie. I just so happen to be a princess.
So Princess Diana, does that not ring a bell to anybody? No? It's just me? Okay, whatever. I stared in surprise. She really was a princess? Oh, wait. She was really a princess? How? She looked so mature. She was more like a queen than a princess. I should say that to her. Really? You're a princess? You seem more like a queen. Oh, look at their face. I may have gotten points for that one. For a split second, I swore I saw Diana blush, but as she started to laugh, I shook my head of the thought.
You flatter me, little girl. You best be careful. I may just take your flattery as an invitation to take your energy. It might be, you might be right. That might be an invitation of some sort. What am I talking about? I shut my mouth, feeling a blush run across my own cheeks. I returned to eating the fruit, hearing her chuckle and eat the remainder of the fruit on her own. Surprisingly, I felt full just from that small slice. How could that be? The only explanation I had was that it was a demon fruit, so I mentally accepted it as just that. Sure, why not? Weirder things have happened, right? Oh man, I wish I could have some of that demon fruit. I wonder what it tastes like. I mean, I don't think it tastes like a peach, even though it looks like it. Of course, I don't want to be moaning randomly just from eating a piece of fruit. That would just make me look weird. And I don't want that. What I didn't expect was Diana leaning over and lifting my chin to look down at me. Messy, aren't you?
Mind your own business. As I stared as Diana came closer and gently kissed my cheek by the corner of my lip, making me gasp lightly. Oh my. What was she doing? Why was she kissing my cheek? Why do I want answers to this question? I was red in the face already, and here she was taking advantage. Oh my. Diana pulled away and slightly licked and popped her lips. What?
You had a little juice on the side of your lip. It was bothering me.
Yeah, sure it was. Well, let me go get some more juice. Oh, horrible, horrible. I ran my fingers over where she kissed me and felt my red face grow even hotter. Diana chuckled slightly at the side, making me almost glare at her. So this could actually happen. I didn't know if she was flirting with me or trying to embarrass me. Either way, she was winning. Well, you can't be a sore loser, you know? You win some, you lose some. Eventually, my alarm started going off, reminding me to be ready for Naomi and Suzu. Right, school was a thing. I stood from my chair and grabbed my bag, walking out of the dining room.
And where are you going, might I ask?
Oh, come on, I'm going to school!
Ah, I see.
Yeah! You know what those are, right? I looked to Diana, feeling that she was up to something. She had her arms crossed, looking to me as if I owed her something. What?
Well, I don't exactly want you to leave this house with the memories you have. I'd be breaking the rules if I allowed that.
Ah, God, stop it. But we had a deal. You stay for a day, I keep my memories until you leave. I have to go to school, though.
Then skip school and stay home.
What? Yeah, what?
That, or I go with you.
Sure! Random incubus following me around school. No one's gonna have a problem with that at all. What a great idea. Again, I say to you, what? Diana was crazy. To suggest going to my school was practically signing a death wish. Everyone would ask about her. What would I tell everyone? I can't say it's all in their head, if you know what I'm saying. Jeez. Oh, that was a great choice, too. I'm glad I didn't pick it. That's crazy.
I can't let you leave this house with those memories unless I'm with you. Rules are rules.
What rules?
The rules of the world, sweetie.
Rules of the worlds? What was she talking about? Is she just making stuff up?
The rules applies to any magical being that lives in the human world. They were established on a day you humans might know as the birth date of Jesus Christ.
Wait, so does that mean Christianity is legitimate?
It's a story to some, a religious faith to others. I won't deny or prove a religion exists because that's a human matter. Magical beings, on the other hand, don't pay attention unless they're angels from the world of heaven.
So they are so real right now. My curiosity was pecking at my mind like a frantic bird. I wanted to know more. Diana was giving me answers and I wanted to ask more questions. However, I had to go to school. I was conflicted.
Stay, and I'll tell you more of these rules.
Oh, I do want to stay. And if I go?
Then I take your memories. Now.
No, but... I was trapped. There was no way I could bring Diana with me without some repercussion. If she took my memories now, then I'd go to school without remembering anything. However, if I stayed, I could learn more. But I'd miss school. Well, screw school. I'm staying. I bit my lip. Did I really want to stay? I could feel my fingers run over my phone and call up Naomi. Without even listening to the phone, I spoke into it. Hey girls, I'm feeling really sick. Don't worry about coming, and don't come over. I'm staying home and getting better. I hung up without even acknowledging Naomi or Suzu on the other end. Diana crossed her arms and waited for me to return to her fully. I threw my bag to the side and looked at Diana, ready to learn more. You're going to tell me everything.
I'll do the best I can.
Mm-hmm. I walked up the stairs with Diana behind me. I glanced at the dining room to see it already clean. I guess Diana used magic to clean up after us. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's pretty convenient having magic. I continued and wound up walking to my bedroom. I sat on the bed as Diana stood by the balcony window. It was just like last night. So I can ask anything and you'll answer, right?
I'll give you the best answers I can give.
Knowing Diana, it could have been a white lie. She already hid some details, but I guess she had her reasons. However, I would need to know more than just details. The rules of the worlds, what are they?
They are the heart and soul of the human world, created and approved by all 5 worlds on the human date, December 25th.
Hey, that's my birthday! No, seriously, that's my birthday, guys. So, yeah, I had something to do with rules of the worlds. That's obviously what it means. Anyways, 5 worlds?
In human terms, there is the human world, heaven, purgatory, hell, and the abyss.
What are the rules in this agreement?
These rules dictate the behavior of otherworldly creatures in the human world. Without them, there would be constant war between angels and devils, while the vampires would try and enslave humanity.
So there's vampires now?
Demons are merely the watchers, but often the devils or vampires will try and coax them into joining them.
So angels and vampires exist too?
Yes. Angels are from heaven, watching over the human world with a careful eye. Vampires are from the human world, but pass on to purgatory before rebirth.
So it's possible to be reborn as from human to vampire, I guess is what I'm saying. Well, of course, you know, but I'm reading it like I don't know what the hell she's talking about. Mostly because I don't know what the hell she's talking about. But you know what I mean. I stared at my lap. This was all amazing, yet this wasn't satisfying my curiosity. Did I want to know more? Did I want to know just about demons? This was all a huge deal and felt both over and underwhelmed. So these rules have rules over humans. Humans can't know about magic at all?
Correct. Humans, to the angels, need to remain pure and innocent. So they dictated that humans cannot know of the other worlds or of other beings. The rest of us agreed. Only a select few are allowed to know the truth about us.
That's hardly fair, isn't it?
Well, take a look at yourself. You're barely proficient with magic. Your kind is too focused on who will fight the next war or who will screw the next person. I'm sorry to admit this, but humans are the weakest race in the planes of existence. The only ones who truly protect you are angels.
I felt angry that she made humans sound inferior. Yeah, we had our faults, but it wasn't like any of the other races were better, right? There was no way humans were the inferior race. Well, we're not inferior.
Oh, you're not now? Really?
Diana stared at me, looking up and down before smirking a bit.
Let's go on a little trip, shall we?
You just said I couldn't leave. I raised an eyebrow. What was she on about? First she wanted me to stay here, now she wants to go out? Just whip this girl! Before I could protest, the world began to spin around me, forcing me to jump up and grab onto Diana. She held me as the room spun practically out of control. My fear escalated and I buried my face in her shoulder, wanting it to stop. If she was trying to prove a scary point, it was working. And we're in the office, or something. Oh, what are we doing? I felt the world slow down around me and soon come to a halt. I didn't want to look, but gently Diana pushed me away from her body for me to look around. I gasped when I realized that I was in a business office. What? What is going on? Where are we?
Just a simple business office. Nothing more.
I looked around and felt an air of familiarity to the room. I couldn't figure out why, but my brain kept me aware that I knew this place somehow. I didn't get to think on it long. Suddenly, a group of businessmen entered the room, stopping at the sight of Diana and me. Well, this sucks a little bit.
Who are you two?
Yeah, it's all in your head! Oh, I don't think that's gonna work. I froze. What was going to happen? We were going to be thrown out, get in trouble, and I would never be allowed out again. This was a mild nightmare. Diana's giggle stopped my thoughts, and that music means something really interesting is about to happen. I looked up to see her smirking at the group of men, a hand by her lips. Uh-oh, looks like someone's going to seduce somebody.
Why, do you not know who we are? For shame, for shame.
I don't think they should know who you are. Diana guided me to a chair and sat me down before sitting on the table. I practically turned red as Diana hiked her dress to where her entire leg slipped out from the slit. Yeah! She crossed her legs and tossed her hair gently.
We are your employers. This lovely lady is the CEO of the company, and I am her personal secretary. You men, however, are late.
For what? I don't even know why I even Ask that question! I stared at Diana as she stared down at the group of men like a tigress to her prey. The group collectively began to shuffle in nervousness, surprising me. Were they really believing her lie? How? What do you mean how? Come on. Succubus. Diana smiled and lifted her legs slightly, making the men lean in for a possible panty shot. Perverts. Whatever. Well, I couldn't help but feel both stunned and slightly jealous. Okay, apparently I'm also a pervert.
One of you needs to come over here and kiss my foot as an apology.
What? What? I looked... This main character and me are very similar. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. I looked to Diana's foot, seeing it gently bob in slight impatience. Was she seriously going to make one of them kiss her foot? Oh my god, they obviously couldn't be this enthralled with her enough to stoop so low. I let my thoughts become destroyed as I watched a man step out from the group nervously and get on his knees in front of Diana. As he gently cradled her foot in his hands, I tensed and held my breath. No way. The man gently kissed over Diana's foot, making almost a sultry sigh escape her lips and send a shiver down my spine. Really, really. Diana smirked and leaned back on her hands, controlling. No, look. Why am I saying controlling? She's doing because she's doing the controlling. That's why. I'm putting words in there. Diana smirked and leaned back on her hands, looking down at the man before her.
My ankle next.
Oh my. Like an obedient servant, the man traveled his kiss to her ankle as Diana let her head fall back with another sigh. Diana, what the hell are you doing?
Proving to you how weak the human mind is.
Is that what you're doing? Because that's not what it looks like. Diana raised a hand above her and snapped her fingers, causing the group of ogling men that remained to straighten up like an army at attention. I felt myself tense and catch my breath in response, but I couldn't feel any power over me. So it wasn't happening to me, at least. It's
water,
good.
A massage, another kiss.
This is BS, man. With each command, the man would separate from the group and fulfill it obediently. I watched as each man became practically a slave to her whim. Diana closed her eyes and let out a pleasured hum, making my spine tingle again. What is that? For some reason, this irritated me beyond belief. Watching her be pampered and enthralled men made something crawl in my chest, something dark. What, am I getting jealous? A little bit. I wanted it to stop. Don't say anything. That's enough, Diana. Okay. How far is this gonna go? I'm a little curious to see how far it goes. I'm not gonna lie. What do I do? It can't be that bad. I haven't seen anything really bad yet. So, let's see how far it goes. I sat in silence, waiting for her to be done. She'd be bored eventually. Then again, she was a succubus, so who knew when she'd get bored of attention? At the snap of Diana's fingers, the boys huddled together back where they were. Diana then turned her head and smiled up to me.
See? Easy to manipulate.
Okay, so nothing happened. Good. Well, I clicked on it because I thought something might happen, so shame on me. So what? They're guys obeying a hot chick.
Oh, trust me. Women are just as weak-minded as men. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I can't attract the same sex.
Oh, hell. Let's just go home. Diana sighed and rolled her shoulders.
Fine, fine.
With a snap of Diana's fingers, the room around us faded to black. I wish I picked the other choice now. A mere breath later, we were back in my bedroom with both of us on my bed. Diana stretched her arms up and smiled at me.
So, now do you understand the vulnerability of humanity?
Screw you. I gritted my teeth. Humans weren't as weak as she claimed. I couldn't believe it. Just because we were weak didn't mean we couldn't know about those who were supposedly more powerful than us. I glared at Diana. That justifies ignorance? How does that justify ignorance?
Ignorance is the only safety humans get to have. If humans were to know about us, do you know what kind of chaos would occur?
For once, I felt scared. Diana's eyes were cold as ice as she stared into my soul, practically giving me the frightening feeling of the future I questioned.
There are already wars in the human world being fought amongst yourselves. Equality, dominance, power. The human world is practically the image of self-chaos. Innocent blood is spilled every day in your world. Doesn't matter the color or creed you carry.
Sound a little high and mighty there. I'm assuming this doesn't happen in your world, or what?
You think blood is spilled now? There will be much more if humans knew about otherworldly creatures. Our existences can destroy beliefs and human logic.
That's true. I felt the world around me go dark as I stared at Diana. Sounds of screaming and battle raged around me, but I kept my eyes to the one person I could see. Was this an illusion? Was this a trick? It didn't feel like it.
Religions would crumble and civil wars would clash. Paranoia would be a constant in every human mind. And soon armies will rise up, trying to defend humanity without true knowledge of who we are and what we can do. Vampires would be forced to retaliate and build armies of their own, and trust me, they're not as friendly as the vampires in your human fictional drabble.
What are you talking about? I watched Blade. They're very violent. Are you talking about like Twilight? You have Twilight in the human world? What? You have Netflix? So even people in the demon world think Twilight sucks. As long as I'm understanding that, we're good. So we have common ground. See, it's not so bad.
Devils would have a heyday and wreak havoc, finally finding a collective weakness in the human world to exploit. Angels would have to come down and fight their devil rivals, and the human world would become their battlefield.
Sounds like Armageddon. I could see the world Diana described flash before my eyes. I could see humans screaming and fighting each other, trying to figure out who is what, and being frightful with every blink. I imagined devils like Maliks ravaging cities and killing people while soldiers tried to fight back, failing and dying at every turn. The image was scary and I didn't want to imagine it. I shook my head, holding it in both hands before looking to Diana. My room had returned and Diana stared back at me. To my surprise, she had a concerned face.
The rules are to make sure that we all stay at peace. To have us all fighting at once would result in a massive cataclysm that would engulf everything and everyone, no matter what you were.
Wow, it's like humans are so important, despite how weak we are. So if everyone else can know everything, but if the humans, if a good percentage of us knew anything at all, like that would just be the end of the world? The end of the world, huh? That's it? BS, man. Diana finally broke away from my gaze and she held on me and stared at the far wall. Oh, wait, I read that wrong. Diana finally broke away from the gaze she held on me and stared at the far wall. I could see a look of fear rush through her eyes as she looked away from me. I felt almost sorry, but my confusion covered my concern.
Demons already have enough on our collective plates. We don't need to become the backlash victims of broken ignorance.
Wow, sounds like you're reminded of something. Diana. Something in Diana's eyes made my heart almost hurt. Even though she wasn't looking at me, I could almost see all the emotions that ran in her mind just by observing her eyes. I felt bad, terrible even, for questioning her as I did. I was only human, after all. However, I felt the need to comfort. I felt the need to comfort. Oh, I can't read. Oh my god. Comfort her. I felt the need to comfort her. Something was going on, and Diana was holding it back. Whether or not I learned more by comforting her almost didn't matter. Yeah, man. Take her hand. I felt myself gently scoot closer to Diana before laying a hand on Diana's. Oh, surprised, are we? Diana stared at me for a brief moment before shaking her head frantically and shutting her eyes tightly. A soft sigh escaped her lips before she looked again at me with almost a new resolve.
I'm fine. I was merely trying to prove my points.
I want to know more about this. I gotta figure out how to do it. The day then became filled with Diana teaching me about magic. Even when the day ended, I needed to learn more. I began to crave it. I begged Diana to stay despite knowing our deal. Diana, despite promising to stay only a day, agreed to stay longer to tell me more. Soon the days passed by, filled with lessons and examples of magic. Cool. Knowing that I would be missed at school, Diana quickly took care of making sure I wasn't missed. Using a simple spell, as she called it, she created an illusion of me to go in my place. That is the most awesome use of magic ever! Oh, I could have used that in college. It was real to humans and acted just like me, but was like a ghost to demons. I kind of wish I could remember that spell. I told you she's like me. She told me of vampires, creatures who looked just like humans who had an inner hierarchy. There were 4 types of vampires. 4! But all of them were under oath by the rule of worlds not to hunt humans. It was strange, but it felt like a fictional novel, but Diana promised the vampires were not like the books. Well, that's good. They had adapted to living with humans, creating a formula that allowed them to walk around during the day. They even had a blood bank as currency and made synthetic blood to quench their thirsts. Good. They had real blood to drink, of course, but they either got it through hospital blood drives or black market means. It was surreal. Well, I feel a little bit better about vampires, I guess. Devils were as chaotic as Malik's was, but they were still all under the command of a very powerful fallen angel and devil king, Satan. He, however, still had the heart of an angel. He simply sits in hell and waits for an opening into the human world. I hope it never comes. Angels, on the other hand, were not as I expected. When I thought of angels, I imagined beautiful human-looking creatures with wings and halos.
I still wonder who spread that rumor.
Diana explained that they actually looked monstrous. Each archetype of angel looked different, but Diana couldn't describe them all. The one that stood out the most was the Seraphim. Oh my goodness, Seraphim Entertainment? Gotcha. Got it. I see what you did there. She described it as a mysterious creature that hid behind 3 large pairs of wings. It hid behind them? What if the Seraphim did look human?
Well, anyone who has met a Seraphim and tried to find out has not lived to spill the secret.
Oh, hell. Well, that's not happening then, I guess. I gulped. It was scary to hear that for some reason. Angels were strict and not as forgiving as many claimed. According to Diana, they had a love-hate relationship with humans, but they didn't try to dominate us. They only became mediators for the rule of worlds. Why not?
I'd rather not get into that.
Why?
It's not my place to talk about heaven. Only the angels.
She also mentioned their methods for memory removal. As the self-proclaimed guardians of the humans, they had the right to baptize humans who held memories of humans. Wait, they had the right to baptize humans who held memories of humans. No, I don't think that's right. But I know what you mean. Memories of what? Like demons, vampires, etc., etc. Should they find any in the human world? This baptism not only erased the memories of magic, but erased their entire memory clean. Humans remember who they were or who they knew. Wow! So just not selective on amnesia, just the whole thing gone. A blank canvas. Demons, however, unlike the others, were passive creatures that only truly cared for their own world. They had their own lands, kingdoms, and lore living there. The most powerful demon in the abyssal planes was the Demon Lord. He was the incubi boy's father, and he was a ruthless man. He had conquered several kingdoms with a massive, indestructible army. Many demons died under his brutality, but when he did conquer, life for demons was like the human renaissance. Good guy or bad guy, can't tell. Many feared what land he would attack next. However, to everyone's surprise, the Demon Lord had tried to be peaceful with Diana's kingdom as she was offered as a bride to one of his sons. Well, so that's your situation, huh? Why would you accept that? It's pretty obvious why, but let's go on.
I had no choice. I was barely a child when the decision was made, and when I learned of it, I had accepted it.
Why, though? How would you know if you would be in love with the guy you married? What a dumb question. That was irrelevant, obviously.
It didn't matter. My kingdom would be safe, and I would be able to live with knowing I was able to protect my kingdom.
Damn. I stared at Diana, and she smiled at me with sad eyes. She really didn't want to marry them. It was practically painted all over her face. Diana's face shifted to one of surprise as she looked at me. I was being honest, though. She shouldn't have to marry someone to protect a kingdom. It would be safe, yes, but you would be unhappy. Can you live with yourself knowing that?
I'd rather be unhappy than see my kingdom burn to the ground. Besides, as the bride of the next demon lord, I'd have the ability to change things. I could disband his armies, bring peace to the abyssal plains.
But what about love?
Love?
Yes, love! You know what that is. Diana looked at her lap and sighed.
Love can't exist for me. I'm the most powerful succubus in the demon world. Anyone who would go after me would only be entranced by my power.
Really? So, I mean, I was right. She definitely is more powerful than Malik's. So what? Anyone who would have any interest in you whatsoever, they wouldn't be able to, like, what, handle themselves under your power? You're that strong? I know, like, what? They wouldn't... Nah. Confused, okay. So they wouldn't actually be in love with her. Her power would make them be stupid over her, but it wouldn't be genuine, I guess. That's what she's saying. It's not really affecting me, though, it looks like. Oh, I guess you're right. No, I'm not. Diana chuckled, making me blush a bit. I was being honest, and here she was, laughing at my words.
You're a human, dear. You can't know when I'm using my powers or not. I could be using them now, making you interested in me to trust me.
But you're not, are you? Diana then silenced herself. She stared at me, knowing that her silence would give me my answer. I smirked at her. Ha! Ha ha! You like me!
What?
You heard me! You like me! You definitely like me!
I do not. I'm merely fulfilling my end of the deal.
I felt like a tease. She was being nice to me and wasn't using her powers the whole time because she likes me. It was too obvious. You like me, you like me, you like me! Ah! Oh my. What I didn't expect was her taking my hand and forcing me closer to her. A mere inch separated our lips, but Diana's stare into my soul made my mind go blank. Ah! 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 I barely remembered what I was saying. Diana remained holding me. I didn't fight. Why would I? She stared into my soul, and I allowed it. I was concerned, and at the same time, I was intrigued. Diana was indeed a beautiful woman. Seeing her up close made my face turn slightly red in embarrassment. At any moment, she could lean in and kiss me, maybe even take my energy. What? Oh, she could do more than that. However, she didn't. Ah!
You are interesting for a human.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. She then released me and stared at me, watching as I stared back at her with a red face. Did I like her? Maybe. I shook my head. No way. That was impossible. We were just in a business deal, nothing more. Okay, text like that means the opposite. Just saying that.
Is there anything else you wanted to know?
I stared at her as I thought. Was there anything else I wanted to know? My memories were forfeit in the end, so everything was up for grabs. Yet I couldn't think of a single question to ask. Was that all I wished to know? No. There was nothing else I needed to know. I felt satisfied. No, that should be all.
I understand.
Diana stood and adjusted the bottom of her dress before smiling at me. I barely noticed how much time had passed between us. It felt like forever, yet I enjoyed learning more. I felt bad that I had to lose my memories. However, that was the deal, and according to Diana, demons never go back on their word.
Well, if you don't mind, there's one place I need to visit, and I'd rather visit it now than after I take your memories. I'll be gone from the area for quite a while anyway.
Huh? Where do you need to go?
A cemetery. There's something I need to do there. It's boring, sadly, but I need to do it. You need to come with so I can watch you.
I really don't like how my memories are about to be gone. Why did she need to go to the cemetery? Did she have a human friend she needed to say goodbye to? Did she have to meet with another demon? Sure, let me...
No need to get dressed up. It's just a brief visit.
Diana snapped her fingers and the entire world melted into black. She's really powerful. I stood and walked to beside Diana, unsure of what was happening. Why wasn't the world spinning instead? Huh. Was the spinning a trick she did? I felt myself click my teeth in irritation of that thought. Oh, she was gonna have to mess with me. What a dick. Soon the world grew back its color and we were standing in a field I somehow recognized. I looked down and regretted it. Oh, fuck! It's all coming full circle, isn't it? Jeez! At our feet was grandfather's gravestone. It was untouched and as clean as when I last remembered seeing it. Why were we here? Good question!
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. What are you doing? Here? I stared at Diana as she muttered a small incantation under her breath. In her hands formed a small vase with purple lilacs, or lilacs, whatever. She gently knelt down and placed them beside the grave.
I had to pay my respects to this man.
Maybe I should have put a camera on. You can see the expression on my face. Motherfucker, you killed him, didn't you? Why? Were you a friend of his? I needed to know! My mind began screaming. Something wasn't right. Oh, God, Why did she know him? How did she know he was dead? What was their relationship? What was going on?
No, I wasn't a friend of his. I didn't even know him.
Okay. Then why are you giving him flowers? Oh my God, my mind began to screech louder in my head. What was it? Why? Why? Diana, why are you giving him flowers?
You don't need to know. I highly doubt you knew this man.
Yes, I do. Diana stared wide-eyed at me, a mixture of fear and surprise mixed in her eyes. My heart began to squeeze tightly in my chest. Why was she looking at me like that?
How do you know him?
Fuck. Answer my question.
How?
Answer my question, please. I said answer my question. I couldn't hold in my voice. I needed to answer. I needed to hear her answer, and I didn't want to hear anything else. Anything other than her answer would infuriate me. Diana looked down at the grave, letting out a small sigh. My heart tightened further. Answer me. I needed the answer.
This man helped the boys come to the human world. He opened a bridge and let them through, before sealing it with a part of his life force.
There was more. I knew there was more. I remained silent as she took a breath.
I had come to visit their castle one day, and when they told me that the boys were gone, I became frantic. Without the contract marriage, the demon lord would have had the freedom to march on my kingdom and conquer it. I couldn't let that happen.
Oh, that does kind of suck.
So I tried to find a way here. I searched the castle during my brief visit, trying to find out where the boys went. I found it. This man left behind a small trace of his spell, small enough to be undetected by the inhabitants of the castle.
Diana looked to me, a look of pain on her face that made my already pained heart feel like it was punctured by needles.
Demon magic is best with consent, but takes more energy when forced. So, in a blind need, I recast the spell and used that man's life force to open the bridge once more and seal it completely when I walked through. I didn't know I was taking the risk.
Oh no, you did it! She!
By the time the bridge closed, the man had already passed.
Oh,
he was visiting someone
it was your
hospital.
fault.
So I left to find the boys. The staff had found him and tried to revive him.
Oh.
I didn't want to take his life. I thought he was a younger man. I didn't know he was as old as he was.
No, she.
It's my fault this man is dead. But I needed to come to the human world, and he was my only chance to get close enough to track the boys down.
You. Diana tensed up and stared at me. Her face was pained with regret and sadness, something not like her usual self. You killed my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
Attack her or run. Attacking her is useless. I'm gonna run. I needed to leave. I needed to go. I quickly turned and ran, hearing Diana call out for me from behind.
Wait!
I ran. I didn't look back. I couldn't look back. She started all this. She was the one who turned my world upside down. She was the reason for this chaos I was in. She took my grandfather away. I ran through the gates of the cemetery and through the streets to my house. This time, the world was in slow motion, and I was the one going in fast forward. I didn't care what was going on around me. I just needed to run. My heart began to freeze in my chest, pained by the feeling of needles and knives piercing through it. Tears were running down my face, but I knew where I was running. I ran through the front gates of my house and sprinted inside. I zipped up the stairs and ran into my room. As I slammed the door behind me, I began to weep violently. I leaned against the door and slid to the ground, crying. My world was crumbling and I didn't like it. Aw, man. My world was broken apart and I didn't want it. All I could do, though, was cry. My heart denied me from thinking about anything else. I cried. I continued to cry. I let my heart empty of its pain with each tear that ran down my cheeks. Aw, it's so sad. My scream echoed through the room, bouncing around and reverberating into my ears. I didn't care if it hurt to hear it. I didn't care about anything anymore. All I cared about was crying. I curled into a ball and cried. I didn't even know when I passed out. I didn't remember closing my eyes and letting darkness take me. The darkness was comforting. I felt my sadness numb within it. There was no reality in that darkness to haunt me or hurt me. I wanted to stay within it forever. Wow. It's pretty dark. However, my body forced me to open my eyes. I saw the room focus around me and realized I was staring at the ceiling. I was in bed under the covers. I sat up and looked around, stopping to see Diana leaning against the balcony window looking away from me. Why was she here? Did she carry me to bed? I felt my anger wanting to speak up against Diana, but I noticed the puffiness around her visible eye. Really? Has she been crying? Seeing her bloodshot, puffy eye made me fully aware of my own eyes and how dry they had become after crying. I rubbed my eyes and let out a shaky sigh.
I'm sorry.
I stared at Diana. My heart didn't want to hear it, but I let her speak.
I didn't want to come here in the first place. I only thought of bringing the boys back to protect my kingdom, so everything else became secondary. I didn't mean to take his life.
But you did.
I did. I can't ask for forgiveness, but I still am sorry. If I could turn back time, I would find another way.
You know, it's because of you that I met the boys.
Huh?
I looked to my blanket-covered lap. I remembered the funeral, the moving, the meeting with the boys. Everything came to me at once, and now I had the one puzzle piece that fit it all together. If my grandfather hadn't died, he'd still be living here, and he'd be the one taking care of the boys instead of me, but he died and gave me his estate, so I came and met them for the first time. I looked at Diana, seeing her sad face. I could tell she really regretted her choice and was upset. I couldn't sense any deception in her. Well, that's good, at least. I guess I have to thank you for introducing me to them and to magic, since my grandfather couldn't do it himself anyway. Diana looked down, pressing her lips together and closing her eyes.
I need to take your memories now. A deal's a deal. I fulfilled my part and told you everything. I had nothing left to tell you, and you can't keep those memories.
Oh, hell. Come on. I didn't speak. I watched as Diana argued into the air about taking my memories. I felt like she was now doubting the deal, not wanting to take away the truth from me. Did I want her to? This was my chance to return to ignorance. I'd never remember the story that she took my grandfather's life. I'd never remember everything she showed me and taught me. I'd return to normalcy. Well, the game's going to be clearly over immediately if I say, take my memories. So don't. Diana stared at me, a look of almost despair on her face. I, however, kept my eyes to her. You took away my grandfather. What gives you the right to take my memories away?
But I'm
not done speaking. Diana shut her mouth, listening obediently. I needed to speak my mind. She had no right to take anything away. I knew the truth now. That was all that mattered to me. Screw the rules! Screw the rules! I have Diana! Have you right where I want you. Anyways. I deserve to remember everything. I was thrown into this mess because of you. No one has the right to take anything away from me. Diana took a step towards me and I was ready to snap at her. However, she gently leaned over to me and ran a hand over my head.
all right.
You mean all right? What?
I won't take your memories.
Really? Yay! What did I do? I stared up at her in shock. Was she serious? Diana smiled at me and stood back up.
You're right. You deserve to know everything. It's the least I can do.
Sweet. I'm still upset about the grandfather dying and everything. I'm just saying. But I got to keep my memories, and it looks like I get to know more stuff. I felt almost joyful. She agreed with me. This was a huge deal. I still didn't forgive Diana, but it was better to know than to be left in ignorance. Eventually, I would be able to move on. Until then, Diana was willing to stay and teach me the life my grandfather knew in redemption. It was something.
Head back to sleep and I'll teach you more in the morning. I'll stay a few more days until you know everything.
Sweet. I get more things to do now. Something felt off, but I nodded, feeling exhaustion drift over me again. Was it natural? I didn't know. My head began to spin and I needed more rest. Diana gently laid me back down, and moved my hair from my face.
Rest.
Sure. As if from a spell, I closed my eyes and fell back into an unconscious darkness. My heart was healing, and it would take time to heal. Thankfully, it had time now to heal and grow stronger. Ah! Holy mess! That scared me. What is this? An angel showed up? Great!
I know.
Oh, no, 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 no! What? I heard voices and tried to open my eyes, but I couldn't. You lied to me! No!
You don't need to remind me.
No,
I'm
no.
just doing my civil duty.
No, no. An angel? What was an angel doing here? Why was Diana talking to it? Oh. Bullshit. I'm about to lose my memories, aren't I?
Do what you need to do.
No!
I've already destroyed one life, and now I have to destroy another. All from my kingdom. Angel, do it now before I change my mind.
Fucking lied to me.
I'm sorry.
Ah! Well, oh, within a mere breath, my body suddenly became light as a feather and I became numb. I felt my body float downwards into an empty black abyss, as if I was drowning in water. What the... Ah! No, I never saw it coming. I really didn't. My mind became completely blank. I had no memories, no feelings, nothing. I became a blank canvas, a body without a soul. Are you fucking kidding me? Pure, innocent, ignorant. That's bullshit. No, no, no! Oh, what is that M for? Is it the letter from the... That's bullshit, man. So I guess it's all over, huh? That sucks! Ugh! I suck at this game. I suck so much. I probably made every bad decision the whole time and didn't even know it. I didn't talk to the incubi, didn't seduce any of them, didn't even talk to Suzu or Naomi, who I really wanted to seduce. I really wanted to talk to Naomi, or actually, especially Suzu. Hell! I even wanted to try to seduce Diana. That didn't even happen! I'm in this game and I don't know shit! Alright, I'm very disappointed in myself, and I know you guys probably are a little disappointed in me too. But, you know, that's one playthrough, and I'm guessing I still had to unlock everything. You have to go through every single ending, right? So, at least I got that one out of the way. You know, maybe I should... I really feel like I should do one more video. Just to see if I could find one more route where I at least have something decent happen to me. That was BS! Anyways, if you want me to do another video where I try to get another good ending, a good ending period, anything besides that, send me something in the comments, you know, letting me know you want me to play more. But if you want to know a lot of what's going on in this game, you're gonna have to play the game. By the way, if you haven't downloaded it yet, I don't know what you're doing! Download the game already, it's free, man! And it's pretty freaking good! Oh, man. So, I'm guessing it's the end of this video. There might be one more, depends on your decision. So, until then, like and subscribe, make a comment below, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, whatever. You know, so mad. So mad. And, I guess I'll see you guys around. I need to take a break anyways. Just... I really thought I was gonna seduce Diana, and I didn't. I'm actually disappointed, guys. I really am. But, yeah, it was fun. This was fun for the most part, yeah, you know, outside of the bullshittery that I had to deal with. I really do suck at these games. If there's any other game you want me to try to play, you should probably send a comment, too. So I know. You know, hey. I guess that's it for now. Yeah, that's it. That's such BS. Ugh. This is James from the 104th Voice Squad and the voice of Malix in Seduce Me. So, until then, I guess I'll see you guys later. God damn it!